Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are following God's plan, conquesting yourselves and conquesting everything around you. So, a number of topics. Thank you guys. A number of comments. I got a lot of shout outs. I did catch up a little bit. We'll try to go through these every time we do one. I may actually do an extra video this week. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys for your comments. I know we had a couple of comments. One comment on the mic. I'm going to try to see if I can get that straightened out to get a better reception and maybe set up something better. Right now, this is kind of the best I can do at the moment. But we'll kind of move forward. But let me do some shout outs here. YM3306, thank you, my friend. Some of these are old ones, but that's okay. I don't want to miss anybody if I get a chance. Ismaelsanchez, thank you. Ismaelsanchez, thank you. Davion Third Rose, I think it's called. Moy Hernandez, thank you, Moy. Alvin, as usual. Yisrael Yuddah, thank you. Curvey Shine, thank you, my friend. Always great to hear from you again. Ali later, MKS2SI. Flatlining, we're going to do one on flatlining, so we'll keep that in mind. Michael Angel Escalante, thank you. Mr. Fred Webb, thank you. Keep trying, my friend. We all released, I did it 47 years, so we're at the point where we just got to keep trying, battling on, and keep doing that. Antonio, thank you. Rob, Righteous Pleasure, Harmony Within, and Adelioskampos, thank you guys so much for your comments. I really appreciate it. Now, we have some topics coming up here pretty soon, too. I got a couple, how to transmute mentally and physically. We want talking to women during the day only, which is a great idea. A lot of ways to use your energy. We're going to talk about the dangers of eye contact, too much eye contact. A lot of great topics coming up. Spiritual awakening. I got a lot of them set up here. So we have a bunch to go with the next month or so. All right. So at the 2-minute and 10-second mark, let's talk about our topic a little bit. Now, this one comes from a couple different people. God's Gladiator and Oleg, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Oleg Kopylov, that is talking about women approaching you. So Oleg and God's Gladiator, I hope I get this right, but let's go ahead and look at this. So the topic we're going to talk about here is that women will approach you under semen retention, and they will come to you, but don't look for relationships, they will come to you. So that's I have to kind of phrase that a little bit when I talk about it in the title, but I'll put something like that together. So what do I mean by that? All right, let's talk about it a little bit. So we talk about the current state of whether you want to call it dating or romance that we have in this society, and it's been like this since for a long, long time, is the old, what I call Disney model, though it was around a long time before Disney as well. The idea that men are chasing women. That you have this princess woman who is the prize, and the male who is the one chasing. The prince has to save the damsel in distress, all those type of things to earn their love. Sleeping Beauty is a good example of that. All these type of shows are like that. But in fact, the opposite is probably more true than not. And what I mean by that is the fact that, as I was once told by someone, and I think it was actually one of my relatives, I can't remember which one it was, but they said that the man chases the woman until she catches him. Basically, the whole idea that is you're basically not chasing, but you're the one that's really the prize. And why are you the prize? Let's think about this for a second. Having children is something that is very important for progressing this world. And women understand that. But because women are not as physically strong, they can't just overpower men and actually have men have intercourse and give them the energy to see, to be able to procreate and have a child. So bottom line, my friends, is the fact that you're the one that is the desired one. You look at it in some other types of species like peacocks, you look at the praying mantis, all of those, the males are needed, even the bees. The males are needed. Now, after they do their job, well, that's probably a different story. In some cases, the praying mantis, they basically go ahead and cut the female bites the head off the male. But the idea is that when you look at this, you're really talking more about females needing males. Now, of course, we need females in certain ways as well. When it comes to this energy thing, and semen retention, it really talks about the fact that women really need that energy. They also feel a different way once you get the energy. That's why when you look at people who have intercourse, most of the time the women are wide awake. They're energized, while the man is falling asleep. It's because what you're doing is transferring energy to someone else. Now, when you do that, right, unless you're doing it for procreation. So I go back to Oleg's comment here, and Golden Gladiators here, is that the way, and this is totally against what society is telling us. Society is telling us the man should chase the woman, and the women are expecting that. And when a man doesn't exchange the woman, then they're upset, or they panic, or they start getting desperate towards the man. And that's why you see a lot of times the bad boys, or the ones who don't give a care, they're the ones who get all the girls. Because the girls are trying to get their attention because they can't figure out why this particular guy is not giving attention. And a lot of times those women, those are the guys they want. The guys are not paying attention to them. They could deal with the beta males who are sitting there doing anything they want for them. But the bottom line really is what they want, and what they really kind of go after is the ones that don't pay them attention because they want that attention. They want to get it earned, not given to them just because they're women who look good. And so when we look at this type of situation, it's important for us to realize that you are a prize. They need you to have procreation. Now, because of that, the relationships will come before all that, because a lot of females, because going back to the old caveman days, they want to be able to say, okay, we have a child, I want to make sure we have some protection for this child, to raise a child, have someone as a provider and protector. And this is where the male comes in. And so because of that situation, a lot of females will choose those males to mate with, that they feel can do that. Now, if they don't feel that mate's going to be able to do that, well, then they're going to move on, or they're going to find someone else to do that. And so when we look at this whole situation, it's almost the opposite of what you're talking about in society. Women will, they'll put up with it, and marry guys who are beta males, who basically are not males who really kind of want to, who are not going to stand up for themselves, who are not very confident, low confidence, do anything. They're desperate. They'll even marry them if they have to, because they need some security in some situations. Now, but what they really want, and they want to fantasize about, is really, and I've interviewed lots of women over the years, they fantasize about those men who are the werewolf type character, Dracula, the gangster, these people who are not going to give a care about them and basically just do their own thing and not paying them attention and not really focus on them. Those are the ones that they intrigued about, this air of mystery that they have, because why is this person not paying attention to me? So, guys, the biggest mistakes warriors can make is to really want a relationship. Now, I say that, and I understand what I'm saying here. I understand a lot of people are going to say, what are you talking about, Vigor? What are you talking about? We all want relationships. We do. But you got to focus on the right aspect of it. The idea is, if you like yourself, then you're going to be able to have good relations with other people. You'll see that by the fact that people like you, even animals will like you, because you're a likable person, but you like yourself first. Now, how do you get to like yourself first? You like yourself first by self-control, starting with semen retention, and learning how to become the most high-value person you can become. If you do that, the women will flock to you in one way or the other. Warriors, I'm 63 years old, and I have women all the time who basically just want to flirt or anything. And they know I'm married. They know I've been happily married. It doesn't matter. They cannot avoid the energy you have. And this is what can be a positive effect if you want to have a relationship. Now, in my case, it's just it's flattery. It's nice to see, I didn't have it when I was younger. So to me, it's kind of a nice, kind of a little bit of ego booster. It's nice, but it's not really anything important to me. But the idea is that even at my age, this can happen. So you guys are in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. If you're doing this stuff, you'll see a difference. And I've had people send messages saying, 14 days, 20 days, see a big difference already. They see women talking with them, interacting with them Yes, because they sense the energy that they need to have, because they understand what they need to have be able to have children, right? The whole idea is that you want to be able to say, I want to be able to have those children, and I want to be able to, I need some procreation, I need some retention to be able to do that. So when we see this, the idea is that you are someone who's valuable. You're a person who's valuable to be able to say, okay, I'm going to be able to keep my semen, to be able to have that sort of retention, that high value, that self-control. And so because of that, now I can focus on myself. Those relationships, my friends, will come. Those relationships will come because women cannot avoid it. Now, as we look at this, and both of your questions were talking about, and I think Oleg asked the question, whether or not women will approach you. Yes, they will. They'll do it in several different ways. When they approach you, they may just approach you directly and say, I'm interested in approaching you, okay? If they're not going to do it that way, they're going to focus on giving you hints or ideas that they're available. They flirt with you, or they want to hug you. Physical touch we'll talk about in another video. Eye contact, all these things they'll give you, indicating, and they'll stare at you because they need that energy. Now this is subconscious, guys. There's not a lot of females will tell you this. They may not even realize it, but it's a subconscious type of thing. And so when you're sitting and hoping a relationship, you don't need to do that. That actually talks more on a desperate side than anything else. What you should do is basically say, okay, I want to improve myself, and because of that, I'll fall into relationships all the time. And so I fall into relationships because women see that, and they see your energy, they see your growing, they see that they have respect for you, they get admiration for you because you're actually doing something to improve yourself and improve your purpose. And because of that, they know. And if they want to have children someday and mate, of course they want to have children that are just like you, because you have that high value, and they want a boy or a girl who's going to be like that. It's a biological common sense that a person would think like that, especially if they want to have children and have families. And so women cannot avoid this type of behavior. There's nothing wrong with it. Actually, it's very good. And women are wonderful. There's nothing wrong with women. But just kind of explaining what's happening, do not try to, and I say this, and I understand how I'm saying this, but do not try to go after relationships. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to force it too much. You're actually going to push the person back, and the person will look at you differently and lose respect for you because you're not on your purpose. Women want someone on their purpose. They want to be able to gain your attention. They want to earn it from someone who's a high-value male. And if you're chasing them around all the time and you're focusing on them and all you're doing is living your life for them, you've lost it. Eventually, you lose it. You know, you may go out for a while, but you'll lose that. That person will lose respect. They'll move on to somebody else because you're not really demonstrating that sort of masculinity that you need to be a responsible person and a provider and a protector, especially if you're going to end up marrying the person. Now, the other part of it is that they will approach you. Some women, and I've had this happen recently, they will actually, even though you may be married, they know you're married. They're going to still approach you because what they really want to do is they want that energy. They have to be around that because it makes them feel good. And once again, a key thing that we talk about is that women will judge men on how they feel with the man. If the man, I don't care what the man looks like, I don't know how much money they make, I don't care what it is. If they feel great, if they feel they could tell how they feel with you. If they feel great with you, then they're in, and they want you. If they don't feel good with you, they're not going to want to do that because they will measure things based on how they feel. And the whole key to this is to be able to say, you are dictating. You as the male are dictating that relationship. And the bottom line really is that as you retain, as you become a high value male, you're now in higher demand. And when you're in higher demand, now you get to choose those situations. So in Oleg's case and when God's Gladiators, they're exactly right. Women will come to you they will either flirt with you, and if they're not as open or assertive, they will tell you, indirectly that they're interested, or they will just come out and flat and tell you. Nowadays, women are a lot more assertive than they used to be back in the old days, and so they may say that. But again, you have the power. You make the choice. Now, again, I say this, and I think I respond back to Oleg saying, that's all well and good, but always remember now that temptation is there. And if you're sitting there being tempted, now you're at a chance where now you can actually go ahead and release and not procreate. And all of a sudden, now you're running into a situation where now you're releasing again and all that kind of stuff. And so this is not always a positive situation that women are attracted to you. You have to kind of decide, is this something that I want? Do I want to find the one person? Or do you want to go ahead and just kind of live your life through and do the best you can every day to get better and better and focus on God and not focus on women? So that's why I say, Oleg, I understand your question. Good question from both of you guys talking about relationships. But the real bottom line is that women will be attracted to you because you're on your purpose. You're not paying attention to them. Women are the last thing on your mind. You're focusing on everything else. So because of that, women want your attention. They want your energy. They're going to go ahead and go after you. The question is, once you have those people coming after you, is it something you really want? In most cases, the answer probably is going to be no. Unless you have a serious relationship that you want to have somebody eventually thinking about getting married, I would say that you're running down a bad path, especially if you're talking about monk mode and brahmacharya and Sufism. You're running down a bad path by doing it. So I guess I would suggest, and I know this is kind of a radical thought pattern, but the pattern is not going with society and basically saying you don't really need women to even think about women, because women will come after you, and then now you can make a logical choice. And logic is something that men need to have when it comes to these kind of relationships. You cannot fall for women because they look good. They can't be tempted because they smell good or they talk well. Basically, what you got to do is remember, you're keeping your energy. Your energy is a focal point of how well you can become. You are the prize because of your energy. Don't throw that energy away. I did that for 47 years. I know how different you are. I've had like 1,200 days now, and I feel unbelievable. So I continue to feel like I get sick very rarely in my life anymore. Maybe a sniffle here and there, but even during the COVID types here, didn't get sick. Bottom line is that all that benefits you get from keeping your semen, your energy, is so much better than throwing it away. And for what? A short-term pleasure? Think about it. All right, my friends. Well, anyway, I know I ramble a little bit on this one, but this is good questions from Oleg, and I hope I pronounced his name right. And God's Gladiator, you guys had a good question. The bottom line, again, is don't go for relationships with women. Don't think about women. Focus on yourself, and you'll be much better off. And when women do come and talk with you, the bottom line is you make the choice, and you have the choice to be able to say yes or no. All right, my friends, as always, I leave you with two things. First, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And the second one, my friend, we always know we're in a battle. And the battle is always against the evil one, because the temptations we talked about here, all the women, and they want to be with you, they want to talk with you. It's also a great danger and temptation that you can run into if you lose yourself and lose your heart. So you got to continue to battle!